try to help explain this phenomenon. Zachary James Miller.
Thank you, Stephen. I'm a producer, director, writer, and producer's representative, which means I help other producers sell their films. I've produced this film, Cry From Within, which I both produced and directed, was shot on Long Island. It's a psychological thriller, and it has absolutely no political message, but it was fun to make. The film starred Eric Roberts and Robert Vaughn, and Robert Vaughn was a childhood hero of mine. You may have heard about the movie, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but when I was a kid, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. was a TV series, and he was my hero. The documentary is called The Best Democracy Money Can Buy. That is kind of a play on words, in that you can buy elections in America. And we have now a situation whereby recent court rulings have allowed massive amounts of donations. So this documentary is one that I'll be presenting at Cannes in May, and will be, it's just now completed, so we'll be screening it in the market. We have a screening date, and my job as producer is not only to help, make it, but also to take it to market. Now we're looking at this film like a Michael Moore film. That kind of political documentary is the most clear propaganda. It's not trying to be objective. It has a very subjective idea. This is what I believe, and this is how I'm going to prove it. The other way is to have a fiction film. Have a film that's entirely fictionalized, but it is, in a more subtle way, presenting a political propaganda, presenting a political message. You've had films that are science fiction that have a political message. You've had films that are biographical that have a political message. The clearest example is JFK. It made people more skeptical of their government. Before this film, many people believed the government would only do the good thing. They would only do what was right. That idea has changed radically. Individuals across the political spectrum. Now we're moving to my upcoming film. This is called Countermeasures, Unveiling the Global Surveillance State. This is a massive research job for me. Initially, I was just going to do the NSA, but everything is so intertwined, you really can't do one without doing the other. I already have a French distributor that wants to distribute it, and I have a UK partner, a friend of mine, a UK partner, who is my UK partner, so we can get money from the French government and from UK government to make this film. What sells easier, more easily, is action or thrillers. Those kind of films, a lot of small companies and large companies have money for you to do. If you have a good script and it's something that a genre, what we call a genre, people like that, the studios like that, the small studios and the big studios like that. And so what I decided to do was I wanted to write a script that I could get a lot of this information that I've researched now for over a year into a fictionalized version. Yeah, I'm going to try and explain the craziest election in the history of elections in America in 30 minutes. Things have gone haywire for a lot of people who were political pundits who thought they knew what was going to happen. A kind of a revolution that's happening as far as politics is concerned. And it's happening in both the Democratic Party and in the Republican Party. Most even Americans don't realize that we have what's considered to be like a state of Democrats living abroad, and we vote, and we... In France, I'm running the Bernie Sanders campaign. He's my guy. We have 5 primaries that are going to happen tonight. It's a long, sluggish process, and it involves a lot of money. And that's one of the problems here, because candidates have to spend a lot of their time collecting money. And sometimes the money that you collect come with strings. So if I give you money and I'm like a very, very rich person, a billionaire or a corporation, then I may want you to do some things because I gave you a lot of money. And that's one of the key things that people are talking about in America that needs to be changed. Bernie Sanders, he's not collecting money from lobbyists or corporations. He's just collecting money from individuals. That is kind of a really new thing. On the other side, Trump, who is a billionaire, said, I'm not taking money from anybody else. I'm going to use my own money. I'm a rich guy. This idea of not being bought by corporations, not being bought by lobbyists, has attracted a lot of attention on both sides. It is partially responsible for each of these two candidates getting as far as they have in this election. In America, we go through each state, and we have that state elect delegates. Those delegates then go to their national convention, and they vote based on the number of votes that they have, and they place those votes, and then the delegates select the president. Superdelegates are politicians or former politicians who have been given a superdelegate status, which means they can vote however they want. So the situation we have is that we have elected delegates based on the population who voted, and we have superdelegates that are just honorary, here's your superdelegate ticket because you're a former politician or a current politician. Hillary Clinton is the establishment candidate, and she has a lot of friends, and those superdelegates her superdelegates are much, much, much more than Bernie Sanders.
How is it that Jeb Bush can spend $160 million in television advertising and get 3% and no wins, while Donald Trump, the billionaire, is on Twitter?
Jeb Bush ran one of the worst campaigns in the history of political campaigns in America, and he's really not a good campaigner. And the fact that he had been off for a long time, he had not been governor for a long time, he had not been used to campaigning, he was never ready for this kind of campaign. He was totally intimidated by Donald Trump in every debate. You could see he was afraid of the man. I think Donald Trump will win the Republican nomination, and I think he'll be totally devastated and will totally lose to any Democrat in the national election. Thank you. Thank you.